Volusia Flagler Fantasy Football League, YouTube, and everybody worldwide. It's been a couple months, but the season's about to start. What's up, Kamish?
Dude, top of the morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Uh, I wouldn't say fresh or crisp Saturday morning out here in the H, man. It is muggy. It is the humidity is through the roof again, and it's miserable, dude. We got to get through the next couple weeks, man. And I feel like this summer has literally been the never-ending summer as far as just this heat. It's
Yeah,
been
man.
crazy.
Yeah, man. You know, most of us in this league are from the Florida area, and we've all grown up with this heat. But I don't know if it's an age thing or if it's a changing of the times thing, but it
Right?
definitely feels hotter. Yeah, dude. Eyelid sweat is a thing.
Right?
In the words
Yeah.
of Kevin James, sweating,
Right.
peeling an orange is a strong possibility right now in the southeast.
Yeah, why is my inner ear sweat like
Yeah, yeah, dude.
crazy right now?
Yeah, dude. You got to take your deodorant bar and put a swipe behind your ears in the morning.
There you go.
Hey, but we got some tropical disturbances coming too. So
Dude, I'm gonna go draw my rain turtle outside after we get done recording, man, and see
there you
if
go.
some get some get some rain coming this way, man. But dude, so running back news, huh? We've had a couple of big name free agents finally land in the last couple of days, man. I assume we're gonna start at the up in the New England area with Ezekiel Elliott signing with the Pats, man.
I mean, we can. Last time we did this podcast, we did talk a little bit more in depth about free agents and where they were going, and the two that we talked about a little bit were Zeke and then our next subject. But I like it. I have two opinions on this. From a fan standpoint, I'm glad he's there. I hope he meshes well with the team. He's got that crisp haircut, that crisp New England haircut going. I saw him run out into the practice field the other day and seemed happy and smiling from ear to ear. So from a fan standpoint, I like it. From a fantasy standpoint, like we've talked before, I'm not big on New England running backs, and I think a clear, concise decision on drafting Ramondre Stevenson is now a gray area. Um, you know,
I'm totally gonna agree with that, man. I mean, I know a lot of people had Ramondre relatively high on their RB boards this year. Borderline maybe top 12. Being the clear cut RB1 in New England. But say what you want about Ezekiel Elliott, man. Last season, he had in 9 straight weeks with touchdowns. And it seems to be like the general consensus. If there is one knock on Stevenson, man, it's been his acumen to find the goal line down in the red zone, and it seems like that's an area where Zeke is going to excel in. And like you just alluded to, man, like New England backfields for fantasy can be a pretty murky water from time to time. So I
yeah,
I see this more of like I mean, it's going to be a 50-50 split, I think. Maybe if you want to give the slight lean to Stevenson, but as far as goal line work, man, like, don't be surprised if it's Ezekiel Elliott in close.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, he's a goal line gremlin, dude. The guy
Mhm.
finds a way to score a touchdown just about every time he gets the ball inside the 5 yard line. I mean,
I got you.
uh, yeah, yeah, not looking good for baby Derrick Henry, man. As far as fantasy goes, but I mean, either way, if you get one of these guys in the third round, I mean, you're doing okay, in my opinion. Third, maybe high fourth,
I
but
was gonna say, man, for me personally, I would say like about the fourth round, you're probably gonna see Zeke going a little bit later, just because of new team, still getting acclimated to the Patriot way, if you will.
you,
And
you can just say the right way.
okay, yeah. So I mean, who else we got, man? We got Dalvin Cook landing up in the the Big Apple, right?
We do. We do. We have man, that team, dude. Everybody talks about the Bills, dude. As a fan of a team in the AFC East, I'm a little worried about them Jets.
Man, AFC East is going to be loaded this year, man. It's
Yeah.
me it's got to be the division to watch in the NFL right now. I
I mean,
mean,
honestly, the AFC East and the NFC East this year are both going to be good, man. You know, I mean, you're going to have your teams in the bottom like the Dolphins and the Commanders. I said it. Clark
yeah, I
and
mean,
Brian.
I think I'm gonna have to hard disagree with you on that, man.
Yeah.
I think Miami's gonna have more to say this season as far as the playoff picture goes, but that's a
Not
whole.
not when
We
two
don't have enough time to run down that rabbit hole.
not not when two only plays 5 games, dude.
That's right.
But anyways,
So
yeah, Dalvin Cook, New
Da-
York Jet.
Dalvin Cook, man, for the Jets now. I love the signing. I mean, it puts him in a situation where he's got a one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's got a couple of weapons on the outside, a couple of young weapons, and I mean, and it's a good situation for New York as a whole, man, because you got Brees Hall coming off that devastating injury last year, and I mean, he was scorched earth before he went down. I mean, he was lighting up fantasy scoreboards left and right. And now you got a vet coming in. Dalvin Cook can catch the ball out of the backfield. Still got the home run speed and the vision. Um, I mean, I would say like look to see Cook with the work early, but as the season progresses, I could totally again, seeing this becoming kind of a 1A, 1B type situation with Brees Hall.
Yeah. So my concern is health.
Yeah.
Brees Hall tore his ACL. Do we know if he's an injury concern? We don't know right now, right? But Dalvin Cook is a year in and year out injury concern as a fantasy owner, right? And then the other thing that I think about with Dalvin Cook going to the Jets, with Brees Hall there, and even with Michael Carter there, Michael Carter was a solid pickup after Brees Hall went down last year. There's so many weapons on that Jets offense that I don't know how many of them are going to be, I don't want to say fantasy relevant because they all will be to a certain extent, but when you're drafting that number one guy, that number two guy, besides Aaron Rodgers, and maybe later in the draft, like we talked about Tyler Conklin, but I mean, he has so many weapons at his disposal. Who's going to eat week in and week out? I mean, Garrett Wilson probably, yeah, right? Garrett Wilson's probably the safest pick to me on that team. But again, running backs are a gray area there. I mean, they got two monsters in the backfield. It's just how healthy do they stay and who gets all the reps.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Let me ask you this, man. Remove your New England Patriot lenses for just a split second here. But if you had to invest in one of those two backfields between the Jets and the Patriots, from purely a fantasy standpoint, where are you going?
The
If
Jets.
you got
the Jets.
to the pie, man.
The Jets. Yeah, 100%.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, dude, this is not new, right? And this has always been my thought process, but I don't usually draft Patriots players. Unless it's Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski, or if you want to really turn back time, like, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, Aaron Hernandez, those type players I drafted. But it's every week is a committee, and you never know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me personally, like we'll just assume Brees Hall comes back to 100% health. I would say to me, Brees Hall and Stevenson are probably a wash. I would say like maybe a slight lean toward
Brees.
Hall, but
Yeah.
to me, I mean, I think Cook's a better back than Ezekiel Elliott at this point in his career.
Yeah, I agree.
Like even barring the injury history, I feel like if you got both of them at 100%, you got a better back than Cook.
One thing to think about, though, if you look at it on paper, Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall are probably the better duo than Stevenson and Zeke.
Yeah.
But if you take into consideration the amount of weapons that the Jets have, and they have that guy named Aaron Rodgers. I know nobody's never heard of him. You know, this is me taking my Patriots lens off, and this hurts to say this, right? But who are you going to get more out of? At the end of the day, you might get more out of the Patriots backfield because of, I mean, we're leaning on Juju Smith-Schuster and Mac Jones right now. We're not leaning on Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. So maybe the Patriots backfield might be the better choice just because of how much they're going to be working.
Because of volume. I got you.
You know, okay. Who knows, dude?
That's fair, man.
Honestly, I'm going to probably steer clear away from all of it.
Yeah. I'm probably in the same camp as you. I'm not going to go as far as to put it on the do not draft list, but I would be. There'd have to be some pretty bleak options out there.
Well, it depends where you get them, right? If it's a value, you take them.
Sure.
You know, I mean, if you're sitting in the back of the 4th round and Dalvin Cook's there or Zeke's there, and you have one running back on your roster, you'd be stupid not to take him. But am I going after him to be my RB1? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm taking Chris Johnson, baby.
Yeah. Well, speaking of drafts, man, we're less than 2 weeks out, brother. I mean, the 2023 Volusia Flagler Fantasy Football League draft, man.
So we're exactly 9 days, 12 hours, 11 minutes, and 22 seconds. I have it on my my screen here. I know you can't see that, but dude, I am stoked.
Are you ready?
No. No. I'm taking the Ben Devane strat, dude.
Hey.
Yeah. Yep.
He's already on the clock, isn't he?
He is on the clock. First pick. I can't wait to watch him ruin that. Yep. Yep, we're all going to be sitting here, dude, cold iced beverage in hand. Or room temperature if you're a psycho. And, you know, we're going to be sitting here waiting, and we're going to get to watch him make his first mistake.
Hey, man, I don't know. This is a quick little story involving me and Ben in fantasy football, and I don't know if I've told you this, but when Ben and I were living together back at the old 5-103 down at Indigo Plantation, man.
I believe, baby.
That's right.
I remember that apartment.
I believe it was the 2008 season, and I'd gotten roped into playing. I got roped into playing in another league with the boys out at Little Tomoka Yacht Club. Shout out to Cambo and everybody. And I'd gotten on Ben was in his room, I was in my room, right? I got my thing set up, and by just the luck of the draw, I got the first pick, right, on the auto draft. And of course, man, don't get me lying to you, I don't know who the number 1 RB was at the time. So, Ben's all hooting and hollering, yada, yada, yada. And I took, with the first pick, I took Tom Brady coming off of the major. Like I said, don't timestamp me on the year, man, but it was the season right after he had just, gone. Yeah, right? With, the 50 touchdowns, yada, yada. I make the pick. I hear Ben just in the other room, just what the, and of course, as soon as I make the pick, the chat in the draft just starts going crazy. What are you doing? What a dumb pick, blah, 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 blah. And let me tell you, man, I want to say it was the 6th or 7th round. The guy who had the number 2 pick finally came on and was like, gee, you totally screwed up my whole draft. He's like, I was taking Tom Brady at 2, and I thought it was a lock. And I was like, and then we won't relive what happened. What was it, week 1? 2 weeks later? But
it was week 1. the 4th minute of the season.
Dude, hey, if you want to,
Eric Berry, I believe.
if you want to blame that one on me, like that's
Blame me.
my bad. Like, I mean, I've got a knock for my first rounders. Let me knock on wood. But anyway, that was my quick stroll down memory lane with old Benjo and draft stories. We could do a whole episode about fantasy war stories one day if we want to.
I think I know who he's taking.
Oh yeah, number
Yeah.
one, who you got, man?
Dude, he's gonna take Patrick Mahomes. That's his boy.
No.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
No,
he
he's
is.
not.
Because he's
Why?
gonna he's gonna remember last season when somebody had first pick and took a running back and just destroyed the season. He's gonna take Patrick Mahomes.
Look,
take
I tell you what, man. Hey, that sounds pretty fun, dude. How about next week? How about next week? You and I, like, let's mock out like the first couple rounds.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's you and I'll figure out some type of order, like who's picking for who or whatever, right? And maybe we'll do like the first 4 rounds, and we'll try to predict the VFFFL shakeout, man.
Absolutely. If I didn't have to return these tapes to Blockbuster, I would do it right now. Absolutely. We'll do the little cog wheel, and we'll figure out who's picking first. And yeah, I'm down. I'm down. But if I'm number one, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes because I think that's what Ben's going to do. But I could be wrong, dude. I don't know. But I know that our boy Ben loves him some Patrick Mahomes. It's almost sickening.
Yeah, but honestly, man, I don't think he's like a big, like, to me, when we have our draft, like, you know how we're always talking about, like, there's usually like a couple picks that just kind of make everybody's draft change or whatever. Like, there's usually like one person that's out there like shaking it up, man. And I'll be honest, like, for me, I know this year personally, I'm going to be keeping an eye on President of Bills Mafia because, you know, she's got the picks at the turn. So, you know, what she's doing or what I think she may be doing may kind of affect what I'm doing at 11, you know, throughout the draft, man. But I tell you, the one person for me who's like super hard to peg, it seems like year in, year out, man, is Alexander. Old Smoking Joe Burrow, man. He seems to, like, every time I think I got him pegged on like who he's going at, like for either like a running back or a wide out, man, it's like it's somebody else. And it's usually not the first round, but usually about the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
Clark seems to go a little bit deeper on that list, and he pulls somebody out that makes you go, you know, initially at the draft, and then he's like, you know, the number 2 scoring wideout through the first like 6 weeks of the season, and you're like, fuck was he looking at that I wasn't?
I think he's got intel somewhere, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so wild cards.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to make the biggest splash, you think? In the first round in our draft, who do you think is going to make the biggest splash?
Man, whoever decides to go with Kelsey with the first pick.
Travis Kelce?
With not the overall first pick, but with their first pick. I think the first team that decides, like, hey, I'm going to go tight end in the first round is probably going to be the one to shake things up. Unless somebody goes with the QB, which I'd be stunned. But it seems like, you know, it does seem like, you know, drafting a QB early is starting to make its way to the forefront in fantasy communities.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
a little
happened.
bit higher on the ADP, if you will.
It has happened in our league for the past 3 years where a quarterback has been taken in the first round. I'm pretty sure. I will verify that stat for the next podcast, but I'm pretty sure that a quarterback is taken. I mean, last year or the year before, we had quarterbacks taken back to back.
That was pretty early 2 years ago. I would say for me, I think I'm pretty positive last year. If I was to bet, I'm pretty sure it was me in the 3rd round. So I think we went the first 2 rounds last year, which was, again, to me that was an anomaly for me. I do tend to agree with what you're saying. I do feel like quarterbacks tend to go a little bit earlier in our league, but for some strange ass reason last year, I believe it was the 3rd round where it came back to me. I think I had the 2nd or the 3rd pick in the 3rd round, and I was like, how is Josh Allen still on the board right now?
I'm actually I found it in the history, and I am wrong. No quarterback in the 1st round. 2nd round, yeah, you're right. You're right.
3rd round last year.
3rd round was Josh Allen. That was you, and then at the 8th pick in round number 3, Mr. Shane Falco and co. taking
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Let's talk about that number 1 pick last year, Jonathan Taylor by Gisele's prenup. That was a hell of a pick. But that team is gone. That team is gone. I hope we get some new team names this year. I am to be determined right now. But one thing I do want to talk about, I know we're going to be wrapping this up here in a second.
Yep.
Last year, towards the end of the season, we started having these guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that happen on a weekly basis when the season gets rolling. I ask that the champion, Mr. ATL, or ATLians, or however the fuck you pronounce that.
Maybe you need to go listen to an Outkast CD as soon as we get off here.
I actually listened to Outkast almost all day at work yesterday. It doesn't mean that I cannot pronounce that. Okay, I do have a Florida education, sir. Okay, but with that being said, I would really like to see Doug week 1. But I'd like it to be a weekly thing, or at least a bi-weekly thing, and get everybody in here this year. That was a lot of fun. So y'all start working on a laptop and like maybe a camera or something, or an iPad. You can do this 3 or 4 different ways, and I'm more than happy to help anybody, but it's a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I got Ryan on here. I mean, that was...
I totally agree, man. Like, totally looking forward to it. We don't want anybody to feel like they're obligated to come on, but I mean, the more the merrier that we have, coming in and joining us. Like I said, man, I'd love to make it a weekly thing, but I mean, if it turns out to be bi-weekly, that is also great.
Yeah,
I know John and I have talked off air, and I believe the plan is we would like to put these episodes out every Thursday, so we kind of have something to look forward to. Thursday Night Football, waivers, just kind of getting the fantasy weekend kicked off the right way.
Absolutely. So that being said, man, next week, mock draft, and then we're 9 days away.
Sounds good, man.
Yep.
Hey, the only other thing that I wanted to point out, man, hey, y'all give it up for our boy, Mr. Sean Bowen. He's down almost 40 lbs since the last time we chatted on here. So keep up the good work, man. Keep it going.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said, that's the best advice that someone's ever given me on a weight loss journey, man. Just keep going, brother. Keep going.
It's crazy, dude. I mean, number one, thank you, but you didn't really need to say that. But it was really crazy when I was looking through our videos, dude, and like I looked at the clip where I made sure all our audio was good, and then I saw the last one we did in June, and my face was like this fucking fat, dude. I look like that blueberry lady from the Willy Wonka movie. But hey, man, I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to talking a lot of shit with everybody in this league. I look forward to the banter with your brother-in-law for sure. That was always a good time, and I'm happy to be here for another year, man.
Yeah, well, I don't worry. If there's one person that's going to be easy to get on here, it'll be the local Florida Panhandle Miami Dolphin beat writer, Brian Wittenberg.
There we go. All right. Yeah, it's Sunday. It's August 19th, 2023. This one's going live today, baby.
Saturday. It's Saturday.
Did I say Sunday?
It's all right. You want it to be Sunday. I get it,
Dog,
man. You want that toe to leather right now.
dog, I'm not used to being off on Saturday. So if I'm at home
Hey.
and it's the weekend, I think it's Sunday. I am going to
All
play
right.
golf tomorrow, though. I started playing golf, dude.
Let's get it, dude.
Yep. But with that being said, it's Saturday, August 19th, 2023, not Sunday. It wouldn't be one of our podcasts if I didn't fuck up something. So with that being said, we'll see you guys in 4 or 5 days with our mock draft. I appreciate you all. Love you. G,
Peace.
your hair still looks nice today.
Thank you, sir. Thank
See
you.
ya.